Robert Calloway loved a 200-pound Great Dane for 3 years, 2 months, and 11 days. He wrote every single day in a notebook. Then, one Wednesday morning, he drove to Maplewood Animal Shelter, handed over the leash, and sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes before he could drive away. Atlas sat in Kennel 7 and waited. For 341 days, 28 families came through those doors. 28 families kept walking. Then one woman sat down on the cold concrete floor in front of his kennel, and what happened inside her apartment changed everything Robert had written in that notebook. Robert Calloway loved Atlas for 3 years, 2 months, and 11 days. He knew the exact number because he had written it in the small notebook he kept on his nightstand, the one where he recorded things he did not want to forget. The date Atlas came home as a puppy, the first time he knocked over the kitchen table, the morning he learned to sneeze on command for an extra treat. Robert wrote all of it down because he was 71 years old and he understood that some things deserve to be remembered carefully. On a Wednesday in January, Robert drove Atlas to Maplewood Animal Shelter, handed the leash to a worker named Dana, and walked back to his car. His doctor had told him the stairs were no longer safe. His apartment was on the 3rd floor. There was no elevator. Robert sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes before he could drive away. Atlas sat in Kennel 7 and waited for Robert to come back. The shelter floor was cold concrete. The chain around his neck was colder. Dana put a blanket in the corner of the kennel on day 3. Atlas did not touch it for 2 weeks. Then, one night, he pulled it into the corner and slept with his chin on the edge of it, the way a dog sleeps when he is trying to make something feel like home and not quite managing it. 341 days passed. 28 families came through those doors. Dana watched every single one of them. Some slowed down in front of Kennel 7. Most did not. Too big, too intimidating, too much. By day 200, Atlas had stopped standing up when people walked past. By day 280, he had stopped looking at the door. On day 341, he was lying in the corner with his enormous head flat on the concrete, staring at nothing, when Claire walked in. Claire was 31 years old, new apartment, new city, new job, and a silence that followed her from room to room like a second shadow. She had come because her coworker said, "Just go look. You do not have to decide anything." She was thinking something medium, something manageable, something that did not outweigh her by 75 pounds. She walked past Kennel 7 without stopping. Then she stopped. She took 3 steps back. Atlas was lying in the corner, not looking at the door. She stood there for a long moment. Something about the way he was lying there, the complete stillness of it, the way he had made himself as small as a 200-pound dog can make himself, made her sit down on the concrete floor in front of his kennel and cross her legs and wait. Dana watched from the end of the hallway and did not move. After 4 minutes, Atlas lifted his head. He looked at Claire. She did not reach through the bars. She did not make a sound. She just stayed on the floor. Atlas stood up slowly, all 200 pounds of him. He walked to the front of the kennel and pressed his enormous forehead against the metal bars and closed his eyes. Dana had the adoption paperwork ready before Claire stood up. Claire signed it 22 minutes later. If you are still watching and haven't subscribed yet, honestly, that stings. Hit subscribe. Robert would want you to. The first 72 hours were, by any definition, a disaster. Atlas walked through the apartment door and removed a floor lamp from existence with one sweep of his tail. He sat on the couch, and it sank 6 inches. He wedged himself under the kitchen table and stood there for 3 full minutes, completely still, as if waiting for the furniture to apologize. That first night, Claire set up an orthopedic dog bed in the corner of the bedroom. Expensive, designed for dogs up to 180 pounds, which already should have been a warning. By 1 a.m., it was empty. Atlas had moved to the floor beside her bed, producing a sound somewhere between a lawnmower and a freight train. By 3 a.m., he had migrated onto the bed itself, claimed all but 11 inches of it, and was sleeping with the deep, peaceful certainty of an animal who has finally arrived somewhere he belongs. Claire stared at the ceiling. Atlas outweighed her by 75 pounds. The list of options was short. She slept on the 11 inches. She has been sleeping on the 11 inches ever since. The mornings became their own quiet comedy. Every day at 6:47 a.m., Atlas would walk to Claire's side of the bed and sneeze directly onto her face, one enormous, full-body sneeze that shook his ears. This was the alarm. There was no snooze function. If Claire ignored it, he would place his entire head on her chest and stare at her from 4 inches away until her eyes opened. He had a mirror problem. Every morning, Atlas would round the corner, see his own reflection, and freeze. A 200-pound Great Dane genuinely startled by a 200-pound Great Dane. He always looked away first. The other dog was simply not worth his time. There is so much more to this story. These are exactly the moments that deserve to be seen. Then came the Tuesday in November that Robert would have loved to hear about. Claire had been fighting a fever for 2 days and had not told anyone because she lived alone and there was no one to tell. On Tuesday evening, she came home early, made it as far as the hallway, and sat down on the floor because the room would not stop moving. Atlas was beside her before she finished sitting down. He did not bark, he did not pace. He lowered his entire body onto the floor next to her, pressed himself against her side, and went completely still. Claire leaned into him because there was nothing else to lean into. The warmth coming off him was immediate. She sat there on the hallway floor at 2:53 a.m. and thought about a dog who had spent 341 days on cold concrete waiting for one person to stay. He had found her the same way she had found him, by sitting on the floor and not leaving. They stayed there together until the room stopped spinning. Today, Atlas is 4 years old. He still takes up 11 inches of the bed. He still sneezes on Claire's face at 6:47 every morning. He still freezes in front of the mirror and always loses. The couch has permanently taken his shape. Claire stopped trying to fix it 2 years ago. Robert still has that notebook on his nightstand. Dana called him 6 months after the adoption to tell him what had happened. Robert listened to the whole story without saying a word. When Dana finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "That sounds exactly like him." Robert loved him for 3 years. The shelter kept him for 341 days. Claire kept him forever. And some things deserve to be remembered carefully. If you have ever loved an animal that loved you back without conditions, you already know what this story is really about. Tell me in the comments.